Hello and welcome back. My name is Dave and today we got a rather unusual one for you. It's called 7th Cavalry with Randolph Scott. Randolph Scott is one of these men who actually fought in the Second World War, and he's quite a high-ranking officer, which makes me sort of think, is he good for acting in sort of Western or war films? Well, it depends on what film you are asking him to star in. Now, if you said 7th Cavalry, maybe. It's not particularly. It doesn't show the authority you think he might do for film. Sure, it's all about him because he's part of the film, but he fits in this film, but it's not fitting enough for him. A High Noon, another Western film he's done, that's Gary Cooper. No, never mind. The 7th Cavalry. Now this one, if you buy it on DVD, please check on the bottom of here. It does say some quality of imagery and quality of sound has been lost during the transfer process from whatever it was on before to DVD. So there is a. If you ever watch it, it's going to be very blurry on the DVD, but if you catch on TV, there shouldn't be really any problem. You have that sort of vintage look anyway from when they filmed it. So record on TV, but you can buy the DVD. Well, yeah, you're gonna have some issues with this because it looks very poor quality in the first place. Don't get me wrong, the poor quality of the DVD and the casing has no reflection on the actual film. The film is really nice, it's really exciting, and it's very different to the usual sort of films because it's based around the Custer, General George Custer sort of time. It's afterwards, so it's just after the Battle of Little Bighorn. Now, Randolph Scott, he plays as Captain Tom Benson. I want to make sure I get it right because he's got a list of characters in the back. He's a captain in the US 7th Cavalry who, before the Battle of Little Bighorn, went missing. He went AWOL somewhere to a big city, and he met himself a girl. While in that process of him missing, George Custer went out with all the soldiers from the fort to take on the Native Americans, the Indians. And that, as we all know by the history books and the stories we've been told, it has not worked whatsoever for him, which is kind of unfortunate. So it's come to that he's come back home with his wife and a couple of other guys, you know, because you need some kind of people to travel the American landscape with. But he didn't hear nothing of it. And then we get to this fort and it's empty. Basically, it's all just abandoned sort of look. There's no one there. It takes him looking around and he finds some soldiers, and it's his old mates under his old command. Who's like 5 or 6 of them been left behind to just look after the fort, but the sergeant looking after them just said to the lads, just get drunk and just hide away, pretend like nobody's here, and everyone leaves us alone. During that time, I'm really surprised that the Indians didn't really go and look at this fort and actually go and pay any attention to it, because it seems a bit weird that no one's here but yet no one goes to it. Come think of it, no one even from towns and villages went to this fort and said, let's have a look. So anyway, long story short, some soldiers come home from the fort who rang Custer, some other generals and captains, and they sort of charge Captain kicking stuff. They charged Captain Benson with treachery and being a coward sort of thing, but they said basically to him, go and get General George Custer's body and a few soldiers and bring him back to the fort for a proper burial, because what was there is not particularly good. So Benson heads on his way across the landscape into sort of forest, you know, about 300 yards from the fort. Anyway, it seemed to travel through forest quite a lot. They could get 15 men or so and a wagon with supplies. It's like a 4 or 5 day journey the way it seems. Anyway, the Indians sort of like keeping track of them, and they sort of get a little scuffle along the way when the Indians try to report on where they are, and yeah, they chase them down, kill the Indian, and then later on they get to the Battleground. Then you get to Little Bighorn. Wow, this place is they use for film. Looks rather nice. It's a really pretty location. It's nice open landscape. They got a nice like wood around the outside. I don't know what the real one looks like. Real Little Bighorn looks like. I've never been there, so you just have to use your imagination. And maybe it's what it looked like because it's all they probably use at the time. Anyway, they go there and start digging up some bodies. Of course, the Indians sort of catch wind and then turn up as well. And of course, there's a bit of gunfight. You know. The Union soldiers and the Indians have a bit of scuffle because the wagons, have been filled with bodies, and the Indians didn't want them to leave. It's sacred ground, and you destroying sacred ground doesn't help. But yeah, of course, one of the soldiers happened to manage to get away back to the fort and tell the officers there, and the officers, okay, head back, take this horse, take John Custer's second horse, Dandy, I think it's called. That's what it's called in the film anyway. Right back. Anyway, he gets killed by the Indian and the horse just keeps running. Just running. And the horse must have ran for about 2 days straight back to the Little Bighorn. How it knows to get to Little Bighorn, beyond me. You know, it makes no sense how the horse knew where it's going. Of course, everyone at Little Bighorn and the fight seemed to have lasted quite well. Nothing seems to have gone down too badly, and well, I don't know what happened. It's strange how all sequences run together and how it's edited and that. But anyway, the horse ends up on top of the hill. Where this hill came from, I'm not quite sure. Of course, the Indians see it. They think, "Hang on, that's John Custer's horse." Yeah. So the Indians stop, and of course the Union soldiers sign in charge. The horse turns up, and they use the horse to get out basically from the Indians. And the Indians just let the Union soldiers just walk on out. Yeah, it's very odd. It starts off really good film and then it sort of slopes off to you scratching your head towards the end. Like I say, it's a really good film. The budget is like quite nicely there. You recognise you got Frank Phelan, a good actor. He's been in a few films before. And you got Leo Gordon, who's Vogel. He's quite a good actor as well. I've seen him in a couple of films, so it's like a supporting role sort of thing. But no, I do recommend the film. Like I said before at the start, I do recommend it, and do take a look at it. They got the picture on the inside, and got the scene selection, and got some other films recommended on the other side, but I'll keep them blank because I ain't got any of them, I don't think. But no, I do think it's really good, but the pictures on the back of the case are higher quality than the film is. So don't take that into what the film looks like. Like I said, there's a lot of quality lost. But you get the general gist of what happens and you get the idea of what's going on. It's not like poor quality, like it's pixelated everywhere. It's just not particularly well transferred from wherever it's DVD. But I do recommend it. 7th Cavalry, Randall Scott. A good film. Yeah, it's one to watch. You definitely once you start watching, you will watch the whole thing because you get quite involved in it, and like I said, you scratch your head at the end. But there we go. 7th Cavalry. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.